Titanx. How's everybody doing? I'm already amped up because I've been doing the let's fucking go chant with Callum off stage. Thank you for that Google delay. I just heard myself talking to myself on the Google fucking feed. That's hilarious. All right, here we go. We know why we're here. Let's bring up.
Let's fucking go.
I'm doing good. Let's fucking go. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing really good. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good,
in the Christmas spirit.
You know, it's funny, just the caretaking thing. I'm always like caught off guard. I'm like, is next week Thanksgiving? And then Thanksgiving rolls around, and then I'm like, is it 2 weeks to Christmas?
Yeah.
I was an epic failure, and I put up Christmas decorations in their house. I think December 5th. And I was like, all right, it's like 3 weeks to go. I promise I'm doing it today. I had to finally do it. So
yeah, it feels like
I'm behind.
Time's like warped for me as well. It doesn't even feel like it's crazy. I remember January. I remember January 2024 so clearly, and now we're almost January 2025. It's like fucking hell.
January 2024. That is so light years ago. I thought you were going to talk about like right before Phoenix launch. January 2024. I don't even know what I was doing with my life back then.
Exactly.
Same thing I'm doing now, but I mean,
just more.
Yeah. We have a little bit of a delay, and that's fucking me up, so I apologize.
No
let's talk about Phoenix, but how are you feeling now? You're a week into it. What are we, 8? We're on day 9, day 10? What is it?
Day 9.
Day 9. I can look over.
Yes, sir.
Right, day 9. Let's bring up the screen. Day 9. How does it feel? How does it feel now that it's launched? It's out. There's no turning back.
It feels good that everything's working smooth. Like, obviously, I think as a founder, it's one of the scary things. You test as much as you can, but you can't be 100% sure that everything's going to work flawlessly. So I'm just happy that everything's working well. Yeah, obviously, it does say a negative ROI at the moment. We've had this kind of correction. And so the way with Phoenix is kind of the input token is Titanx, and then it's priced in Inferno. So the Inferno Titanx ratio has dropped. So it's currently, but it keeps fluctuating between positive ROI and negative ROI because we have the buy and burn just chugging along, burning. I don't know how much. Yeah, 50K in there at the moment. And that's just slowly buying up supply. And if you go to the stats as well. So that's it sat in Titanx, and then that's buying Inferno to then buy Phoenix. Yeah, so we have 7% burn of Phoenix so far, and 7% to the auction balance, which is actually the number 1 holder of Phoenix, which is awesome.
Legit.
Yep. And that's awesome. Kind of exactly what we wanted, because over the 28 days, if that balance keeps building and building and building, it means straight after the 28-day auction, 28-day mint even, the auctions will start, and there'll be a lot of fuel ready to be kind of reinvested into the system.
Legit. So how's your pace of life now? Has it slowed down now that launch is happening? Are you getting sleep now for the first time?
Yeah, I think, you know what, that's part of it. When you don't have sleep, it's like, it was like stress and excitement of when it was releasing. And obviously you have so much stuff going on in your head. It's like you do struggle to sleep, but now I'm back on track. I feel like a human, no longer a zombie anymore.
Nice. Just in time for Christmas week.
Just in time for Christmas.
So now you're like, cool. Now I'm dialed in, ready to get into my protocol. Christmas. What the hell? I don't have time for that shit. Is that basically what you feel like right now?
Yeah, basically. It's just one after the other. It's like boom, 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 boom. And then we have all these new launches as well, like Stacks today, GoX next Saturday. It feels like it's non-stop, doesn't it? It's just boom, boom. So much more information you have to digest, so much new things you have to do. I mean, yeah, it's a good place to be there.
This is why we're here. This is the exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, let's talk about a little bit about your first week. I'm pretty impressed with what you did. I know you had a little bit of like you said, the negative ROI would show up kind of right around the time on some of the auction days, and that maybe kind of slowed down a little bit. But you got a good amount that first couple days, and you started off pretty darn strong with some of these stakes. I was clicking away on it until I think people have already run some codes to start taking care of this. But for the first couple hours there, I was just clicking away on this stuff, just being like, "Oh shit, man, this is flowing really well."
Yeah, the first few days was insane participation. I think we had over 200 billion Titanx come in that first day. Now it's almost at I think it's 390, and participation has slowed down, which is understandable. I think most true believers got in towards the beginning when the ratio was the best, which totally makes sense. And it just means, so I did make that video yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, the update for day 7. And I was just talking in that, it's like Phoenix is going to work perfectly no matter the valuation. So at the moment, it's like 160k market cap, I think. 180k market cap. So if that's what the starting market cap is, it's still going to work perfectly. We have the auctions, we have the stakes that are fueling it. Participation, the only thing that having more participation would really benefit is supporting Flux and Blaze and Titanx more. But on its own, Phoenix works no matter the participation. And I like this kind of fair mint system because it means only the kind of true believers are going to be in with holding majority of the supply, basically. If that makes sense.
Well, I tell you what, this makes me it reminds me a lot of the Inferno launch, and very similar. And they had similar things happen, and then all of a sudden, though, it was like things clicked for people, and they started piling into those auctions at the end because they understood that, like right now, sure, you can go buy some Phoenix on market, and you'll get it 8% higher than if you took part in the auction. But all of the economic energy that you're using when you enter that auction gets distributed around that protocol. If you buy it on market, all of your economic energy goes into someone's pocket. Where would you rather your economic energy go? To helping the protocol and helping the system, or just giving some guy an extra 20% on his G? Come on, let's fucking go. Let's think about this. Because that's what really, really kickstarted Inferno, was when people really started piling in those auctions. That buy and burn just filled way up so fast that it just created FOMO in the end. And that's, if all those people were buying on market to get a 5% deal or a 10% deal here and there, none of that would have been in the buy and burn. That wouldn't have created any of those green candles. So I would say if it's, 5 or 10%, man. I mean, if it's 50, 60%, I'm not telling anyone to go into a protocol necessarily versus buying on market. Like, I wouldn't tell you, go mine Titanx while we're down 60% on miners. Definitely go buy on market. But if it's like 5%, think about where that economic energy goes. Is it going into someone's pocket or is it going into the protocol?
Yeah. I mean, if it does make more sense to buy off market, if there's like at the moment, we've just switched over our ratios decreased. So there's, I think, was it 12% negative ROI at the moment? I think it was 7 before we switched over to this new day. Yeah. So if it makes more sense to buy off market,
12%, fine.
Yeah. If it makes more sense to buy off market, I've seen a lot because there are some whales that are dumping, and as soon as they dump, there's a few wallets, I should say, that are just buying up the dip because they're getting Phoenix at a cheap price. So if it makes more sense to buy off market, obviously play the game that way. And we have 50k in the buy and burn, which is just slowly bringing it up to a positive ROI to mint again. So yeah, it won't matter. I think either way, if you're buying off market or going through the mint, yeah, it doesn't matter. I think it's going according to plan, but I can't wait to kind of see that last week because, like you say, that's if it's profitable to mint, then that's the only chance you're going to get to actually be able to mint Phoenix. And if no one does, then it just means whatever is out there now is the only supply that's going to be out there, and it's going to be capped, and it's going to be a tiny market cap, and it's going to have 4 buy and burn streams. I think there's 92. Check the Titanx stake. I think there's 92 billion. 93.
Nice.
Billion Titanx. Yep, that's ready to be staked. Because Matrix has been slowly adding to that, and GoX as well. Shout out GoX. They're going to be sending Titanx there as well, which is going to be awesome. So we should hit the 100 billion Titanx staked, which will get us, I think, a nice, because obviously a lot of people are burning their stakes for Shogun. So it'll be nice to see what we get in the 888 day payout for Titanx.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't discount Flux and Blaze by entering those protocols and constantly adding buy pressure. That keeps those auctions going. That provides more economic energy into the stakes. So this is going to be really wild. I'm really, really excited for Phoenix. It caught a little bit of flack in the beginning, a little bit of behind the scenes FUD. And it just sort of comes in with the territory. But I think Phoenix is one of the most unique protocols that's been created. And I'm super excited for where it goes. And you know me, like I'm like a low market cap goblin. I'm going to snatch all these things up whenever it happens. So if you guys want to dump, by all means, I'll buy your future, as Marco likes to say. And
it's like,
no, you get a solid protocol, man. I'm super excited.
Yeah. What did you think about that? So I made that video yesterday about how Phoenix is going to support, obviously, Blaze and Flux. What do you kind of think of what I said? If you got a chance to watch it.
Yeah. No, I think you were dead on. I to be honest, I think this is a topic that has gone, round and round and round the bend. And we've talked about it so many times, like we're blue in the gills. You nailed it perfectly. This is DeFi. And look, man, you made something that's going to benefit lots of other protocols. And that's all there is to it. That's the most important part. And that's what you need to look at. And okay, let me just say this. All of crypto is a constant moving chessboard. Every move that gets made opens up another move. Every move that gets made might stop another move. That's just what it is. And you have to understand that when you make plays in crypto, there may be a move later on down the line that changes the dynamics in the move that you've made. So that's why people say, do your own research, don't ape in, don't sell your car and go all in on one fucking protocol and then be bent out of shape because the dynamics changed because people saw what you saw and did the same thing. I'm super excited about Phoenix. I don't buy into any of the FUD that's been tossed around there about staking and all that. I don't care anymore, like at this point. And I don't mean to sound callous, but it's like I said, we've gone over round and round with it. Look, man, this is DeFi. We're all in here to win, and this is a fucking winner. That's what I see. That's all I care about.
Yeah, I do understand. Like some people, obviously, after what happened with Dragon.x, people have certain concerns about projects entering staking pools. But with Blaze and Flux, it's literally having projects, building them, and have some kind of buy and burn. Basically, like Phoenix could be seen as a buy and burn kind of V2 for Blaze and Flux because they're both so hyperinflating. That's how they just distribute tokens. And if there's nothing to support that, the price, obviously hyperinflation, the price is probably going to dip down unless there are projects that are kind of helping slow that rate of inflation. And if they do, it means the price is supported, which means more comes in through these auctions, which means more goes through to all the stakers. So I'm excited to see, other projects follow suit. I think Stacks is going to be I think they have 20% allocation to Blaze and Flux, which is going to be interesting. But obviously for the protocols like Hyper and Titanx, it's different. You are being diluted, and I understand that point of view, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but it is what it is. It's kind of like, hey, I want my protocol to be supported. Okay, we're supporting it. Well, yeah, but now my stakes are getting hit. So I didn't want do you want the protocol supported or not? Well, yeah, but I only want to get all the benefit. I don't want any, you're like, okay, well, I want nothing but sunny days too, but that's not the way it works in life. So Dragon.x is what it is. It was its own thing. For the most part, my opinion on Dragon.x is it was an absolute guardian angel of the system and pretty much saved Titanx. So that was a use case, and it fulfilled its use case very, very well. When it comes to the rest of these, you can't be mad because you entered into a DeFi protocol and another protocol found a way to benefit that protocol, but it changes the dynamics for the way you entered it. This is DeFi. How is another protocol entering not different than just a whale entering?
But
And
it's a
when a
loyal
protocol enters,
whale.
they dump. Yeah, like exactly, because the protocol is not dumping, so it's benefiting the protocol. So I just, how many times can we have this? I'm sure that a week after Stacks launches, we're gonna have to have another conversation and be like, okay, look, this is the deal. Like it, it's crypto, it's DeFi. Come on, it's like people look. Let's ignore Dragon X. Let's ignore all the other protocols. In the very, very beginning in Titanx, people started staking. And because of the way that people were playing the mining, all of a sudden staking was making massive payouts for the few amount of people that were in it. So they all got on the bullhorns and told everybody how wonderful the staking is. And then everybody jumped in staking and they all got diluted. And they were like, what the hell, man? I was supposed to get $1,000 out of my $20, and now it's only $10. So, I don't like this is crypto. Like things move around. It's game theory. It's game mechanics. Like it's you can't all bet on one thing. You have to always, for me, the way that I play is that I always want to parse whatever I'm going to play with into more compartmentalized groups. So like, okay, I want 10 billion into, say, Phoenix. Okay, I'm gonna start playing it a little differently. I'm gonna stretch it out. I'm gonna try and DCA. I'm gonna do everything I can to see if I can mitigate all the different ways that this protocol can go. When Titanx launched, I did short-term miners. I did medium-term miners. I did long-term miners. I did short-term stakes, medium-term stakes, and long-term stakes. I wanted to see where it was going to work out. And as certain things worked out, I moved heavier into them. And then maybe I migrated back out of certain areas. But like that's all of crypto. So how is any of this different from any of that?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, the way it's different is these protocols don't dump on you. They're benevolent whales. And that doesn't exist in life. So be happy you have a benevolent whale in your protocol. There, you got me all amped up and hyped up. So
but even when you say whale, I feel like it has like that could scare some people. But with the way
it gives
Blaze
connotations, I know.
Yeah, but with the way Blaze and Flux are created, like we could see this infinite loop develop if enough protocols build on top of Blaze and Flux. But I don't know if you've seen Drogon and Draco from Dave, or if you've looked into it at all.
I've heard, and I've been peeking around the edges. That's all I'll
say. Yeah. So he's trying to make this kind of like infinite loop where he has a Titanx style thing and then a Dragon X, and then it's constantly in the mining and the staking side of things. But with Blaze and with Flux, imagine if there's, okay, let's say Phoenix. Let's say there's 10 Phoenixes and they all launch on top of Blaze, let's say. And they're all just buy pressure for the liquid supply, which the liquid supply is very, very small, and that's what controls the price. And the price sets what comes in through auctions, which sets the rewards. So imagine if there are these 10 protocols that are all buying Blaze off market, making it really, really scarce, making it hyper deflationary, which could happen because if you just start burning more than the daily issuance rate, it becomes deflationary. Imagine if that happens and Blaze becomes really, really scarce. It means the price gets pushed up loads, which means there's more stakes for everyone. I think that would be the best ideal situation because you could literally create this infinite loop of just rewards being recycled to make it more come in through auctions, which means more stakes, rewards, and it would be like this. That's what I want to see. I want more projects to build on Flux and Blaze. I think if we get that going, we could have like an insane benefit to all the stakers and to all these protocols, because they'll just be like, I mean, if you turn Blaze deflationary, then
then let's fucking go. That's what.
Because without them, I feel like without protocols, they're just hyperinflating. It would be like Titanx if there were no build on Titanx protocols, which would be hyperinflating. And obviously we have the buy and burns and it would probably work, but it's reducing that time between the massive hyperinflation really significantly. Like I remember Jake saying he thought the we turned deflationary after 700 days on one of the first streams. Look how quickly we've been able to shorten that time frame just because how many projects are burning Titanx.
Yeah, he almost cut that in half. That's pretty wild.
I know.
I forgot that was the time frame he initially said. I mean, I know when this all started in my head, the way I pitched it to some of my friends was this should be really good by like late 2025, I think.
Yeah.
That's when it's going to start kicking off.
Yeah.
So this is a time and a math game, and we're going for the long haul here. And
you're pretty close.
By the end of 2025, I think is when we're going to start going. That's a year off. We're already.
Oh wait, what?
I mean,
2025. Oh shit! I thought
yeah, 2025.
My bad. Yeah, you're off.
Yeah, no, I was thinking at the end of next year is when we would
Yeah.
start to see the first movement. And which reminds me, before when we started, we were like, oh man, look at the Titanx price. It's down. You know what? Titanx is not down. What? We're like 3x up from day 280. How quickly we forget that. So, I didn't think we'd be 3x up from 280. Get the fuck out of here. I thought 3-4 months after 280 would still be this slow drag down in price. I figured we'd be in. Oh, I almost said a bad protocol. I figured we would be in like 7-0 territory by now, and we wouldn't start coming out of it until the end of next year. We're in the mid 6s, bro. We hit 5 zeros, and then we came back. Like we were almost a 2.5x away from me telling the doggo's name. Like we were like 1% away from miners being positive. Like
so close. Yeah.
And it's waves. So I think the next time the next wave hits. Yeah.
And I don't think, game on. I don't think there's any crypto that I've been bullish when the price is dumped this much. Like,
right.
When Titanx is down, it just means we're burning so much. And we're entering that like hyper deflationary state where so much supply is being taken off. It just means the slingshot, when people do FOMO back in, there's going to be so much less supply to buy up. The price is going to be able to move and moon so much easier, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll wait and see. But I'm bullish even at these low numbers.
I mean, we're hyper deflation. Like you look at days when you're like, oh, we're down like 10% or we're down 20% or whatever. And you're like, okay, but how much liquid supply was removed off the market today? And you're like, oh, like quite a bit, which means that someone left at a really nice profit, which means we're entering this hyperdeflationary period, and everybody that's exiting can't enter back in at those prices anymore.
Yeah.
Do you want 3x? Now you got to wait for another 3x. So if you're going to dump at your 4x, at your 5x, that's awesome. Glad you got that 5x, but you're not dumping at 10x now. Now you got to buy in now and wait for another 3x. So I'm fine, man. This hyperdeflationary, this is just going to be waves. And, you'll hit a point where someone's going to hit that psychological, I got $100,000, sell. Okay. Yeah. And then it'll go down a bit. But by the end of the day, we're still just churning through the supply. Like, we're losing percentage points in the span of like a couple days sometimes. Like, it's insane. Wild.
It is insane. And like, that just makes you even more bullish. Like, I don't have enough of anything. Like, at these low points, you just want to buy more and more and more. And my allocation of my portfolio is going so like more and more and more into Titanx and Titanx projects because I'm so confident in them. I think the next wave is going to be a fucking tsunami wave, man. We had the little wave to begin with, and the next wave is going to be huge.
Yeah, that first wave took us to right underneath profitable mining, and that next wave may take us past. Who knows? Maybe the price of Ethereum goes way past, and our next wave is super awesome, but we still don't hit profitable mining. I don't know. Yeah. But I'll tell you one thing. I may have reduced what I was going to hypothetically spend for Christmas to buy more Titanx.
Nice. Yeah, look, nice.
There's always Christmas 2025.
Exactly. And you can have 10x more the presents potentially. That's what you got. That's what you have to think about. So yeah.
Sorry, little Timmy. There's always next year.
So just talking about Shogun and obviously stakes in that. A lot of people are burning their stakes. Have you participated in Shogun? And are you kind of excited about it, or how? Yeah, how are you feeling about it?
I'll tell you my experience with Shogun so far. I have not strategized by it. I really haven't done any strategy. I just like, depending on what day, like, I don't know where it is, what time it is for me when the day turns over. I think it's like 8 p.m. somewhere around there, 7:30, 8:30, something like that. But for the first 2 weeks, I wasn't ever sort of available at the end of the day to get in. And so by the time I was like ready to do it, it was like the day has just changed over. And the way I do auctions is I'll usually enter in at the end. And that's kind of how I'll do it. And I just kept missing out. And then I don't know, like maybe like day 13, day 14, I finally was able to enter in with some Titanx that I already acquired. Or some X28 that I already acquired. And the X28 produced Shogun at a profit. And I flipped it into more Shogun, nice. Even with that 8%. And so I flipped it into, I'm sorry, I had the Shogun, I flipped it back into X28. I re-entered the Shogun auction the very next day. I took that Shogun, I went into X28. I re-entered the next auction the next. I've done 6 or 7 auctions in a row. I still keep coming out with more X28 and more Shogun. So I'm like actually still compounding, and I'm not strategizing this, and I don't know if it's just I just keep getting it on the right days. Maybe people aren't taking part as much now that that first week has gone over, but I keep coming out with more by just taking what I got and re-entering the next auction.
Infinite money glitch.
Maybe that never is real, and I'll always stop at some point. But as of right now, it's working really well, and I just think about all that Titanx that just keeps getting removed every time I just go through this loop.
Yep.
It's awesome. So I'm super stoked on it. I mean, if you look at the numbers. I mean, what are you excited about? What gets you so?
Do you want to pull up the Shogun numbers? The Shogun numbers are insane. They are actually insane. I did see with the Bolt auctions, by the way, they're mostly positive. So it is a good strategy. You could just keep compounding. Yeah, look at this war chest. It's almost 25% of the entire. This is whilst it's been inflating at 100 million a day. Like what? These numbers are absolutely insane. There's only 57% liquid. Like this is so incredible. And with the war chest, I don't know if you heard what I said. Did you hear what I said on Spaces about the war chest?
No, the Spaces it starts too early for me right now. It's like 8 a.m. when it starts now, and I'm like, I literally get free at like 9:15.
Yeah,
and so like I tried to, but I was walking away. I was cooking, and I couldn't.
Yeah, basically, all I was talking about is obviously in the war chest there's like 500 million. Yeah. There's like 500 million and 24. So that's like 25% of the supply. If 8% is used on day 29 when it starts, that means there's going to be 41 million in that first auction.
We need to get a different color for the war chest.
Yeah,
for a second,
war chest is so important.
Where you were getting the
that's basically the auction balance, isn't it? The war chest is the auction balance, and it's huge. And it just basically means even after these auctions of 100 million, we're still going to have $50 million a day in the auctions starting out, which is just going to be recycled. And obviously, there's going to be no people leaving their stakes either, dumping off market to make them liquid. So I can't believe and that's all just to do with the 8% tax, I think, on all the volume. And imagine when volume picks up.
Yeah, and look at these fucking buy and burns, man.
Yeah, I know. What I love about them is that they're just like automated. They just work every single day, and they're just calculated. And it's just the auctions. This is like the best auction that I've seen with the LP web and the tax.
That's the X28 buy and burn. Whenever I look at the Shogun buy and burns, I just immediately go back also to the X28 buy and burn. I'm like, holy mother. That thing's already at 2.4. And that's with the depressed price of Titanx right now. What's the price Titanx right now? Yes, verify I am a human. Thank you, deck screener.
Hey, what did this say?
Yeah, so I mean, we were almost 2x up from here. So, that'd be almost $5 million in that fucking buy and burn for
Good
X28.
point. Very good point.
Bro. But to go back to Shogun, yeah, I'm super stoked about Shogun. Like, I think people didn't get what Jake was saying when he was like, this is my magnum opus. This thing is going to be just a fucking monster of hyperdeflation. And I still think maybe people don't get it yet.
I don't think they do.
But I'll tell you what, every day I go to stats on Shogun and I look at total liquid X28 used, total Titanx used, 7 trillion in Titanx stakes have just been liquidated and sent in to Shogun. That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Like, that's amazing.
That's crazy.
And this is why that's amazing, because that's 7 trillion stakes that will not be unlocking at some point and dumping if we're like, say Titanx is at a penny in 5 fucking years.
Yep.
Well, that's 7 trillion that cannot unlock back then and dump, in the future and dump. So let's
when you put it,
burn those fucking stakes.
Yeah. When you put it that way, it's such a good point. Like down the line, how like that's going to have a huge impact, because 7 trillion Titanx in 5 years is going to be worth a fuck ton more. And if that's people,
go ahead.
If that's people that they're just going to dump for a profit, yeah, that's not a good time. That's going to be that's not going to be good. So getting out of the way now and burning at these kind of low prices is going to be huge.
It's great. It's great. We're getting them out at the cheapest prices. Get the fuck out. Go play Shogun. Absolutely. Eric said it best. I think it was Eric who said it, and he was like, staking is just deferred selling. And I was like, oh shit. I never thought about it like that. I used to think about like, oh, it's all locked up. Yeah, cool. Those people can't sell. Well, now, but they're gonna later, and it's gonna be rough. Like, so this is genius. This guy got 7 trillion so far to get unlocked and to go, and you may as well, because with the way the other protocols are taking over the staking, there's not going to be much left for you. Go.
Yeah, and this just means the protocols that are in there own a bigger percentage, which means all of that is just being reinvested into Titanx and these other projects. So it's kind of like a win-win in that way.
I'm telling you, it's an look. Shogun's an incentive, and then when you realize what the other protocols are doing by being the predominant stakers now, by being the biggest whales, benevolent whales, but by being the biggest ones, that's an extra incentive. Look, they're kind of shooing you out, but oh hey. Instead of shooing you out with like a stick, hey, there's also a carrot at the end. Go get that carrot. It's Shogun. Go. Come on.
Yeah.
Go get your carrots. It's good for your eyes.
Yeah. And like, it's not like you're burning them to get nothing. You're getting Shogun. And this is the stats after 25 days. Imagine after 100 days. Like the liquid is already below 60% and it's inflating 100 million a day. Imagine when it's capped supply, it's going to be so insanely scarce and so insanely deflationary.
I'm going to be honest with you. While we're doing this whole thing in my head, I'm like, I got some of my stakes. I'm not going to fucking burn them. And in my head, I was like, wait, but I just went over how all my auctions are coming out profitable. I could just turn my fucking stake profitable right now. Yeah, I'm going to have to burn those fucking stakes. Never mind. Yeah, I've only played it with X28 that I bought. And now I'm going to like, oh, yeah, I'm going to have to. I'll tell you, there's one stake I can't burn because I don't have 3,000 free, which I'll tell you what, I'll be super. Hang on, I gotta take this.
No worries. Hi guys in the chat, how's everyone doing? The carrot worked for me. What? Oh, for the stakes. Yeah. I burnt my stake for Shogun. I think it's the only difficult thing was I had quite a big stake. I just one big stake, and playing it at the right time to burn. That's what I found like quite intimidating, because you don't know the best day. It seems like it's just the best day has been the current day. Like it's just continuously, like if you participate now, it would be the best time over day 14, 15, 16. So I think I'm going to participate more probably with X28, because Shogun is just like, I think this is going to be insane. And this is with low volume as well. Think about that. Like everything's kind of down. Imagine when all the volume picks up and that our bots can actually start going crazy over all the LPs. It just means that the war chest is going to start growing to a massive, massive degree. Like it's going to be even more impressive numbers than these right now. And these numbers are, I would say, are even suppressed because of the stakes. Because let's say you have like 10K in your stake and you want to free it to make it liquid. It's like you're going to do it. And then if you're at a profit, like Mo said, you might just be like, okay, I'm just going to sell out Shogun now because I'm at a profit and I can have my locked up funds that I would have got in 7 years right now, like pretty safely. So I think that's why we're seeing quite a lot of buy pressure. But after day 28, that stops. No more stakes are burnt. And it's just, I would just see it going to the upside after that, to be honest. Each day it's getting better to get in. Yeah. Yeah. I think there's going to be a mad rush. I was just saying, yeah, LB in the chat has a very good point. I think there's going to be a mad rush towards the end of Shogun. I was getting bullish. I'm like, I don't have enough Shogun. Now we're talking about it. Like, it's so, I can't wait to see what happens to it. I really, really can't wait. What the numbers are going to be. This is after 25 days of basically inflating its supply to a massive degree. After it's capped, and these are the numbers when it's inflating.
No, stop hyping me up, because what I was going to say before I took that phone call was I had finally created enough dry powder to liquidate my biggest stake.
Okay. Yeah.
But Pulse Chain crashed yesterday, and I bridged it into Pulse Chain to grab more Pulse Chain.
The FOMO
Sorry.
The FOMO kicked in.
The FOMO hit Mo. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I could not resist Pulse Chain at those prices. I'm in Pulse Chain too, and yeah, they want to recycle some FUD, and people want to buy it. All right, fine, let's go. I'll increase my bags. Let's fucking go.
Yeah,
Richard Hart. Let's go.
That's fair
Free
enough.
Richard Hart. Let's fucking go.
That's a good point. So you're really into Pulse Chain. Like, objectively, right now, what are you more bullish on? The Titanx ecosystem or the Pulse Chain ecosystem?
Oh, you're gonna put me in a spot there.
Yes, I am. I'm not. That's a difficult spot to be in. Both are obviously insane.
It's based on it's timing based on an event, and I don't know when that event comes. So I am very confident, like almost everybody in Pulse Chain, that the SEC is full of shit, and they've just brought a big bag of dog shit to hit Richard Hart with a lawsuit. And It's just about the most corrupt thing that there is. They have no basis on it, and almost everybody's convinced that it's going to get tossed. When it gets tossed, to the fucking moon. So I think long-term, Pulse Chain has amazing prospects, and I'm super stoked for it. But while I've been in Pulse Chain, and while it had that SEC FUD, this guy named Jake Sharp made something called Titanx. And I got into that. And Titanx is this monster in and of itself. And now it's hyper deflationary. So nothing that ever happened before even fucking matters, because now I'm in a hyper deflationary token, which has a massive ecosystem with a ton of fucking liquidity, ton of protocols being built on it. There's no end in sight. It's going omni-chain. Dude, I'm bullish on both these fucking things. It's like, you know, it is what tastes better, the apple or the orange? They fucking both taste great. Okay. They're two different things. And, you know, one's an entire chain in of itself. Shit, and one may turn into its own chains, you know, down the line. Who knows? But for right now, technically, I'm being asked to compare what are the prospects of a chain versus a protocol. I mean, I guess technically I'm more bullish on the chain long term, but I'm bullish on both of them, man. I'm so fucking bullish. Okay, what I found in the last couple months is without doing this, my bags have pulled even between Pulse Chain and Titanx. And in any given week, I don't know what's higher. And so I like to open up my Titanx hub, go to my portfolio section, shout out Mike Dean, get premium. I'm telling you, get premium. Ask me for the code. It's doggo. And I go onto that portfolio and I check it. And what I do is I keep it on one side, and I just Ethereum. And guess what? Everything that I have in my Titanx or in my portfolio tracker on Titanx Hub on Ethereum, 95% of it's all Titanx. There's like $200 in Pepe here, and fucking $100 in some shit coin, you know, over there. And then then I click over to Pulse Chain. Some days,
Same.
you know,
Yeah.
when pulse wrap Bitcoin was almost at $2,000 and PDI was almost at 3 cents, that bag was really fucking high. When Titanx was at 5 zeros and a 1, that bag was really high.
Yeah.
So, what am I more bullish on? Neither, both.
Yeah.
They're the same.
Yeah.
It's all part of the DeFi ecosystem that I'm riding, and I'm so fucking excited to be in all of it. But for the Pulse chain, because that's the topic of the day on the internet, fuck the SEC, fuck Interpol, and fuck the press for rehashing old shit and creating a FUD event, quite possibly before we get the golden road ahead of us. So that's what I think. I think this is a great big FUD event right before the case actually gets tossed, and someone's trying to engineer an event to get some cheap Pulse chain.
Yeah, sounds like a good buying opportunity, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
I won't necessarily be burning my biggest stake for Shogun, but the rest of them I definitely am, partly because of this conversation that we're having. Which, I mean, I feel like it's the Helios rerun where I'm like, wait, I need to go buy some Helios.
Yeah.
Wait, shit, I do need to burn my stakes.
I think even having a big stake down the line, like really down the line, like next cycle, you're gonna like praise yourself. You're gonna think that's the best decision, because it's like you might not get a chance to burn that Titanx again, so you're forced time in hands to wait. And I think that's going to be one of the most valuable. That could be the most valuable investment you ever make, because that bag is just going to stay there, and Titanx is just going to continue what it's doing. Yeah, LB said it's like asking who is your favorite kid between Pulse chain and Titanx.
But I always hear that, and I'm like, all of you guys who have siblings, your parents fucking lied to you. They do have a favorite. You know how I know? Because I'm the fucking favorite in mine. I'm just saying.
I think I might be in mine as well.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
I'm probably definitely not the favorite. I'm considering I'm the guy streaming on the internet about crypto. I'm probably definitely not the fucking favorite in my family.
It's like, yeah, I just met all of my family, and they were like, "Oh, so what do you do with your what kind of hobbies you do?" And I'm like, "Oh man, do I try and tell them about crypto?" And then they'll ask me a million questions. Crypto. Yeah, they're like, "What's that?"
Computer screen for 18 hours a day.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah, but you know what? Next year, Christmas 2025, Christmas 2026, you're gonna show up and go, "Yeah, what the fuck are you doing with your life?"
Yeah, I'm gonna say that to my granddad. Yeah, just walk in.
He's gonna be like, "What the fuck did you say to me?" Like, I'm sorry. I got like $2 million out, and he's like, "Okay, touche."
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're in the perfect position to kind of be in both ecosystems and have similar sized bags, because your FOMO must be not as big because you have good exposures to both Pulse chain and Titanx. So it's like no matter what, you win as long as they do well.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm not one of these people at all that is bridging between the two. Like I independently bridge to Pulse chain on intervals. Like, that I have pre-planned intervals to bridge in, and then I just bridged in yesterday because of that whole event. Which, by the way, that bridge got a little clogged.
Really?
Guys, can we get a faster bridge? Because I could have got some Pulse wrap Bitcoin at $500 instead of $800. I think is what I got it at. Damn it!
Wasn't that a huge issue at the begetting? At the very beginning of Pulse chain, it was and some people made a shit ton of money from it.
Yep. You know what? That's why they say have your dry powder already ready. If you don't have dry powder ready and you see an opportunity, I can almost guarantee you that by the time your dry powder enters, you missed it. You're buying that green candle now. So definitely have that dry powder ready, which is why I have these like standard intervals where I bridge into Pulse chain.
I think that's better. Eliminating emotion, I think, is the number one thing you should do in crypto, because as soon as you start acting on green candles and your emotions is where you normally get wrecked. So having, just stuff written down, even for like exit strategies, I think prepare now. You don't want to be having to fight your emotions when the time comes.
Yeah. Well, there was $3 million going into the bridge. So, I mean, maybe that was
Wait, that's
No
insane.
problems with that.
All at one time.
Oh, I mean, yeah. When that FUD was happening, when the crash happened, there was a massive influx to the bridge on all of us. We're like, ha ha! I know what's going on. Fuck
Give me
this.
more.
You're not catching me.
Yeah.
So I was actually talking with Johnny Papa Vegas, like in chat, and I was telling him, I was like, hey, I'm gonna bridge into Pulse Chain, and then I like left my phone, and I came back, and he immediately sent me a message. He's like, hey, just so you know, some people are getting stuck on the bridge. It may take a while. And I was like, too late. I already started the bridge, and then 2 hours later, I was like, yeah, it's a bit delayed. It's okay. It's
You're watching all the
right when I
prices
texted that, it went through.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's not too bad.
It was like a flash crash, and then it kind of came right back up. I mean, you have to have the dry powder ready. If you think you're going to bridge in time, and then, here's another thing. If you're reading about it, you're probably already too late. Like that's like my favorite thing is like whenever I have a couple friends, I use them as the same bellwether. Like I don't call it a top signal, but it's like that's the no more going into this. Like my bags are set. If my buddy Johnny asked me, hey, what about this one? Oh, it's the door's closed on that. Now this is all suckers entering, and
100%. I had like 3 friends ask me about XRP and like if they should invest, and I was like, man, like, and about Bitcoin and just about crypto in general. I'm like, it's screaming top.
They asked at 290 at XRP, and they asked at 99,000 on Bitcoin.
It's just crazy but they're the people, in my opinion, that are chasing emotion, because as soon as they see a pump, it's like, oh, I need to get into this. They're chasing the FOMO. But to be fair, Google says something. He says, don't eliminate emotions, recognize them, and then immerse trade them. What do you think about that, Mo?
Inverse trade them. Yeah.
Oh, inverse.
Right. It's contrarian investing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times when you feel the most uncomfortable, those tend to be really, really good trades. I have a lot of, kind of sayings about this and ideas about this. If everybody's saying the same thing, they're fucking wrong, because never is everybody right. Never is everybody wrong. Never is it always, so like when all I'm hearing is nothing but positive, I go the opposite, and that doesn't usually, like, I don't necessarily do shorting and stuff like that. But, if I hear that, that's my signal on, oh, I'm not going in on that. Oh, like everybody's, fucking leveraging for Tesla stock right now. Probably not the moment to go in. Oh, is Tesla's a scam and they're just a car company, but they're trading like a tech company? Maybe I'm gonna get in now because everyone's hating on it now. The contrarian investing is really, really smart. Just know what you're doing. I tell you what, emotions got me. Shrey was in my inbox, and we were talking about Pulse Chain, and we started talking about different stuff, and he's like, I tell you what, he like laid out this PDI, like thing, and he's like, I know you have PDI, but just consider getting a little more based on this. And by the end of the conversation, I was like, fuck. All right, I'm gonna buy some more PDI. I already had, I considered a bag, but he was like, look, minimum 1 million PDI. You just got to go with that. And I was like, you're right, Shrey. All right.
Good decision or not?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. He was totally right. Yeah. It was we had this conversation quite a while ago. And it's a cost benefit also. If you put so much towards something, what's the likelihood that I'm going to lose it? What's the likelihood that it goes to shit? How much is it that I'm putting towards it? What are the upside potentials? Okay. Yeah. And there's certain equations where you go, I don't necessarily think this may do what this could do, but for what I'm putting in, on the off chance that it does, is that worth the risk? Fuck yeah, it is.
Yep.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Yep.
So yeah, you got to really sit there and look at all angles sometimes. And sometimes sometimes when you're really totally got all that conviction in something and you're about to go 20K into just aping into it, you got to go, well, what if this doesn't work?
Yep. Yep.
Maybe 10K.
Yeah. You know what? That feeling I had, I've never had it for anything stronger than Dragon X. Like a while ago when it was trading quite low. Like, I don't know why. I was like, this is... I did go all in, which weighed out in a good way, but it could definitely have gone the other
But
way.
you sat there and you looked at the information that you had. You looked at it from all the angles. Everybody else was saying don't.
Yeah, it was
And
just
so
quiet.
you made a contrarian play. You weren't contrarian against yourself, but you still made a contrarian play. Everyone was hating on Dragon X, and you were like, all in, bitches. Let's fucking go. Like, and by all in bitches, I mean all in bitches. I'm not gonna look at this. Yeah, I've done that too.
Yeah. But I love that feeling
know,
when you have such strong conviction for something. It's like you weigh up the pros and cons and you really think about it, but then you come to the same conclusion that it's like it's so bullish no matter what.
Yeah, you guys talking about cycles and Tesla buying at 150, now it's back at 400, dumping. Yeah, just wait till it goes back down below 200. You'll buy it back again. Financial media institutions' main job is to transfer the money into the pockets of the institutions that pay them. Yeah, 100%. I like to look at stuff like if CNBC starts to do a piece on the stock that you were in on or the stock that you're about to go in on, that door's already closed.
Yeah.
Like, oh, breaking news on CNBC. Algorithms already beat you to it.
Yep.
The pump is already over. Like that.
Yep.
You need to know before they start talking about it. And if they start pushing you in a direction, don't go. don't go to the light they're pushing you to, because it's probably a fucking burning dumpster fire at the end of the tunnel. You're like, hey, Enron's doing great. Don't even worry about this. Fucking dumpster fire. WorldCom's doing great. Don't even worry. Fucking dumpster fire.
Yep.
Anytime they tell you to do something or don't do something with those, like, it's easy to me, I feel like sometimes.
But it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. The best plays that you make, in my experience, outside of like Titanx, is the plays where no one's talking about them and like there's no hype around it, but you just have to know yourself that the fundamentals are good to invest into it. They're the best plays.
Dude, I don't know what you're talking about because I am in Palantir. I don't think you told me to rotate out of it. Why should I rotate out of Palantir? I got into Palantir at 9. It's at 75. Why should I get out of Palantir?
Holy shit.
Why should I dump
recently those? Isn't it going into... Wait, is that company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Isn't it just gone into like the top 100?
What is RGTI?
It's gone into an index, I think. Palantir. I don't know.
It's on the S&P 500.
But I think it's like the top 100. That MicroStrategy and another company is moving to another. Like I've seen quite a lot of news about it recently. Maybe
they are shilling it hard on CNBC. That is a good point.
Sell signal. So get out.
Well, I tell you, I got kind of taken to task because I'm in Palantir, and I had a guy just like tear my ass a new one in my inbox because I was an investor in Palantir, and he was like, it's an evil company and this and that. I have a fair amount of friends that are in the military and in NGOs, or no, I would say NGO is not the right term. Other governmental agencies that they don't necessarily attach letters to. And Palantir, from what they say, is this fucking game changer. And it's an absolute game changer at what they do at lots of different levels in the military. And from what I heard from those guys, I was totally on board.
So you see it as more like a long-term play, you think? Or do you plan to kind of rotate?
I think Palantir, it was shaped to me this way. And I hear stuff like, Palantir's AI, it's data, it's analytics, it's, yada, yada. I heard it phrased to me in a way of, this is the next Lockheed Martin. This is the next Northrop Grumman. This is the next Raytheon. this is what defense companies are going to be in the future, and they're the first ones. And I was like, okay. And they told me use case stuff that they do. Like, I don't really know what I could say without getting people in trouble. But okay, you know the concept of like the military made the internet? Did you ever heard that?
Or like they've made a lot of different technologies, and like introduced it.
So like the internet that we have, so to speak, is something that they were using much earlier. Now what they're on is something more advanced. So they don't need the sort of the infrastructure of the World Wide Web, right? Well, so now they're going levels beyond that. And so there's abilities in theater to know where everyone is all the time, real time, no matter what.
Oh, that's scary.
Like in terms of all of you, and now we're getting the ability to do it for the bad guys too. And so it's getting like really fucking wild. And so the shit they've told me like they've been doing and the capabilities they've been able to do is pretty nuts. And so I've been like, okay. So I made a move when it was at its bottom flood point.
$9.
It had just broken below 10. I made my first buy at 9, and then I stopped buying at like 18, 19, I think.
Yep.
And but let's have a conversation off screen.
I know. Yeah. No, that is such a good point. I mean, when you look at the US and you look at it from like a country outside of the US, you guys have the biggest military budget, like compared to like the same as all the other countries combined. There's got to be some crazy. Quite, but I know, but it's high. It's high. There's got to be some crazy technology that like they haven't released yet. Like you said, internet, like some stuff that would improve the life of everyone, but obviously they can't release it yet. I think, and maybe if there are certain companies like you were talking about, imagine buying that before it's announced that these companies are behind these massive like innovations that impact the whole world.
I think, and another way to simplify it is like the people who can control and manipulate data en masse the most and the best are going to be the ones moving forward you want to be involved with. Because data is king. Data's fucking gold, and what you can do with that data is fucking diamonds. And it's fucking wild. Like, yeah, I mean, just think about everywhere in all your imagination at where AI can go and all the things that opens up. And then just realize that most technology is started by the military.
Yeah.
So,
there's probably some Terminator bot out there at the moment. It's like all these drones. What do you think about all the drones?
Oh, in the US?
Yeah.
All right, man, we're gonna really derail this stream, man. I think have you followed Ashton Forbes and the MH370 mystery saga conspiracy?
No.
Oh,
am I missing out? I'll write it down. Say again.
All right, hang on. I'm gonna pull it up.
Yeah, because from my point of view, it's like there are these random ass drones, but no one is talking about them. But there are just videos of them by the public. That's what I've seen. Obviously, I'm not in the US, so I don't know how different it is.
I think for the most part, my government's fucking with us.
Really?
I mean, yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't think. So this first one right here. Watch this fucking podcast, and it's gonna blow your fucking mind.
Okay.
I'll give you the cliff notes of it, and it's gonna sound so wild and crazy that you're gonna have to watch it.
Okay.
The cliff notes on this is, let me give you a scenario. It's 1945. It's July, and you're a student in the University of Chicago, and you ask your professor about atomic power, atomic energy, and how we can make weapons out of this. And your professor goes, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. We've barely discovered the atom. The Manhattan Project is going on right now, and they've made nuclear bombs. We just haven't set them off. We haven't told people about them. But that science exists. It's at the highest levels, and the military is actually controlling it because no one else knows it exists. So this video is going to purport that we're in a sort of modern day Manhattan Project, that we have discovered advanced physics far beyond the Einsteinian level. We have solved the sort of the speed of light, you know, that thing. We can make wormholes. We can make wormholes with energy. That MH370 plane was taken by basically 3 energy orbs that fucking made a wormhole and snatched that fucking plane, because on board the plane were 20 of the top scientists for the company that had cracked room temperature semiconductivity, superconductivity.
What?
And they were going to China with their families. And the idea is that they were supposed to be going on a work vacation with their entire families to China. All of them, all the senior engineers with their entire families. The idea is the Chinese were getting them to defect with the technology. And right before they got there, we were like, the fuck you are. And we took the fucking plane.
What? And it just disappeared.
Watch the video. Well, I mean, we probably took it to somewhere.
Yeah. But like,
you know,
from the perspective of like the public, that plane just disappeared.
They give you, in this documentary, it lays out a lot of convincing evidence. And there's a couple of videos that people think are fakes. Some people think are fakes and some people think they're true or think they're real. One of the videos is an infrared video. And for all my friends that are in the military, the amount of infrared videos I've seen in my life, everything in my life tells me that there's nothing fake at all about the infrared video. It looks as real as fucking possible. And
Really?
all the scenarios that they give you, it sounds fucking legit. So what do I think the drones are? I think the government's fucking with us. I think maybe they're trying to distract from the fact that there is higher level science going on, and they're desperately trying to keep a lid on that shit. And it's sort of like, you know, yeah, if you want to think it's aliens, sure. Like, here's a good example of this real quick, because I want to get this point out. If you lived in southeastern California, northwestern Arizona, southern Nevada in the 80s, there was a lot of sightings of, you know, UFOs, and people were adamant they were seeing UFOs, and they were seeing black triangles with fucking lights in the sky, and they were positive. And you know what? The government didn't go out there and say, yeah, they're aliens, they're UFOs, but they definitely didn't stop people from wondering if that was the case. And they were always like, oh yeah, we don't know. Maybe we don't know. Well, those black triangles were B-2 stealth bombers and F-117 stealth fighters that were totally secret at the time. So you're damn right they're willing to let people believe they're aliens, because now you don't know what it actually is. Oh, drones, oh, aliens, you know, yeah, whatever. As long as you don't know that we've actually cracked Einsteinian physics at the highest levels. And so I think maybe that's what that is.
It's like, isn't there a part of the CIA that literally the main thing is to try and distract the public or sway the opinion of the public and confuse
100%.
them, basically?
100%.
Which that just seems what it, and when you put it in the perspective of like the Manhattan Project, like they just figured out how to split the atom, but at the same time they were creating the most deadly nuclear weapon that had ever been seen and wasn't even imaginable. That's 100%.
But professors couldn't tell you anything about it.
Because
it was all in the military.
And if there's a scientist that know, they get
I mean, I don't know. All right. That was the most epic derailment ever.
That's so interesting. I'm gonna watch that
about the drones. I follow that dude all the time. I'm so fascinated by it, and he's got a million different reasons why he thinks this is legit, and I can't poke holes in fucking any of them.
Really?
It's wild. There's so much shit, man. Not even gonna get into. Not even gonna get into it. I could have it an hour-long stream, at least, just talking about all the different things that he talks about that I find almost impenetrable.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I'm pretty sure he's nailed it on this one. I'm pretty sure we took that fucking plane.
Oh, that's insane. I need to watch it. I love stuff like this. That's like out of the opinion of the public, but has like strong. You need to speak to. I don't know how much you spoke to Erwin from like Facing Reality. He's in the chat.
Oh yeah. No, he's in the chat. He's literally like just dying right now. Like yes.
I had the most interesting conversation with him, like about similar stuff like this, and it's just like it like kind of blows your mind because you never hear
Erwin,
it.
we need to have a stream where we just do that top it, because I feel like you've had an epic conversation with him off stream, and I've had an epic conversation with him off stream. Why aren't we just making this as like a Titanx conspiracy theory night? Let's fucking go. Like,
yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And you can just get, especially for this plane. Oh, Mike's in the chat. Let's go.
like, dude.
Yeah. Especially when there's all this evidence that like you said in this video, this documentary, you think he's nailed it because every single point just sounds so like close to reality, close to being perfect. That's what I love when it comes to like conspiracy theories. I love hearing that.
I like conspiracy theories where you can slowly add circumstantial evidence to the point where it's just this massive weight on one side, and you're like, I mean,
yeah,
come on.
Yeah. But when it comes to the US, I feel like that's where there's a lot of conspiracies in your
why are you gonna blame it on us? What, other people don't do conspiracies?
You guys have you have the biggest military budget. You have to have so many secrets, man. Yeah. There has to be so much stuff going on.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But also, like, we also live through our own government doing shit where then 20, 30 years later you find out they lied to us, and you're like, oh no, they did do all that. You're like, ugh. Yeah. Yep. I mean, if you want to get your mind blown on some shit our government did, look up MK Ultra in the CIA. Bro.
What is it?
They an acid dosing program to try and end the hippie movement.
What?
And you ready? You ready for this? There's a book called Chaos. All right, guys in the chat, I'm super sorry. Like, everyone's like, why the fuck is he not talking about crypto? He's got me on a rant and I'm going.
This is the greatest derailment.
The book is called Chaos.
Yeah.
And in this book, they purport that Charles Manson was created by the CIA by massively dosing him with acid. And the whole point of it was to get the hippie movement just tagged with this criminality. And so they let this guy and set him fucking loose to try and kill the hippie movement, because the hippie movement was killing the Vietnam War. And they're like, these fucking hippies are killing the Vietnam War. We need to discredit the hippies. We need to fucking kill this. And so there's this massive acid doping program. And then when you go into the book, and when you go into the book Chaos, you're going to really lose your fucking mind, because you're going to find out this little tidbit where you're going to find out that the guy in charge of the acid dosing program for MK Ultra was the very first person to meet with Jack Ruby in jail. And if you don't know who Jack Ruby is the guy who murdered Oswald. Oswald's the guy who killed JFK, who lots of people say there's no way he killed JFK. Well, the guy who murdered Oswald before Oswald could ever be questioned was a guy named Jack Ruby. The very first person who met with Jack Ruby in jail was the head of MK Ultra. The next people who came in were the doctors, and they declared him clinically insane because he was dosed with fucking acid in fucking jail, bro.
What?
Which was why a lot of people think the CIA files still have not been released on JFK, because the CIA probably has something to do with murdering that president.
Shit.
Yeah, bro.
Shit. Do you think Trump will release this?
You're welcome, chat. I hope so. I hope so. Yeah. I heard him say something that I was like, oh, I'm on board with that 100%. And he said, and I don't know if this is what it would be, because politicians say a million different things, and then they become the leader, and then, who the fuck knows. But he said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give the files to RFK Jr. And if he wants them released, they get released. And if he doesn't want them released, then they don't get released. And I'm like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with that.
It's like a movie story, though. His dad and his uncle, right, were both assassinated. And then he's literally made his way into government at the highest level to see what's going on and to fix things. It's like literally a movie script. It's insane.
That dude's got a wild story. I know.
Yeah. Oh man,
it's really wild too, because if you look up the Kennedy days, they called it the days of Camelot, because it was like this fantasy of, I mean, now it's kind of like a fantasy, but like of these politicians that came in wanting to change the country for the good. And so you had these guys like JFK and RFK where, presumably, they were trying to, help the country, and they were trying to really help the populace. And so it was like this idea of Camelot and all these knights that are actually going to protect us and help us. And so this dude who was born out of the assassination, literally, of Camelot, And now he's here, possibly holding the keys to, are we going to find out who killed your uncle and maybe your dad?
It's actually insane.
Wow.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
what? And
Yeah,
when
it's a good point. It does feel like a movie when you kind of pull back on it and you just kind of write it down. You're like, this is a fucking movie, dude.
Yeah, you're like, what? This guy, like, it actually could be. I'd watch that. That's a good plot. But when you talk about, like, obviously about this potential way to kill the hippie movement because it was impacting the war. Like, I think you've seen in history, like with World War One, all the propaganda was so positive and there was no media about it and everything was so good. But then when you actually went to the war, it's trench warfare, the most grueling thing ever. And then you hear about all the other
warfare and trench warfare. Like, God.
Yeah. And then you hear about all the other wars where people like attack countries, and then you find out later on that it's to do with like more towards oil reserves and money. And it's like, it feels so corrupt. Everything feels like unanswered questions, you know? But that's why I like these kind of conspiracy theories.
I feel like you're part American, man. Why don't you come on over the phone and start questioning our government over here? You're already right there with it. Let's go.
What state would you recommend? What's the best state to go to?
Texas. Go to Texas.
I have family in Texas.
Freedom. Texas and Florida, but hurricanes hit Florida, so stick to Texas. Well, hurricanes hit the Texas coast too. Just go inland.
Yeah. Like Houston's quite inland, isn't it? Yeah. That's like a good.
Outskirts of Houston are a little close. To the Gulf. Yeah. I think a hurricane actually hit Houston a while ago, and they got a little bit of flooding. By a little bit, I mean a lot. So maybe not Houston, but hey, if you're in North Houston, fine. It's all good. But where's the stream going? I'm talking about North fucking Houston. Okay, last cycle, this guy was in a deflationary coin. 1% to 2%. By the way, where was it? Somebody was like, come on, get back on track.
I think that was like half an hour ago.
There you go. Yeah. I'm sorry. You did not get me back on track, and it took this guy to get me back on track. But I'm back on track. So he was in a he was in a deflationary coin system that burned 1% to 2% a year. What do you think about that? When you think about when you hear about these other ones and like, hey, we burned 0.5%. You're like,
it just sounds terrible, doesn't it? Compared to Titanx, where you have things that are burning like Titanx on its own. Titanx is burning like 0.3% some days, right? Like huge positions they're burning daily. And this is over a year. It's like 1 to 2%. I'm sure that coin did really well. And this is literally the first time in Titanx where we're seeing it at such a huge scale, where we're going hyper deflationary, such a huge rate. It's like, I can't wait to see. I'm sure that coin did amazing, but I feel like the coins that are out now that are burning at an even higher degree, they're going to do even better.
I mean, I'm just saying.
52% burn. Wow. That was 50. Literally, what, like a week? Was it a week?
Dude, we're burning a percentage point like every couple days. I mean, Jake wasn't kidding when he said we're burning a whale every fucking day.
Yeah. Wait, that was a week ago when everyone was posting 50 cent because we burned 50% of the supply. I don't know if you saw that on Twitter. My feed was just...
No, I haven't. I'll be honest with you. I'll apologize to the community a little bit.
Yeah.
I've been doing my best to keep up, but complications happened with the one senior that was in the hospital. And so I've just been dealing with that nonstop. So I've been trying to keep up, but clearly I have not been streaming as much. And so I apologize. And by the way, Plan A just like sang my praises in spaces today. I appreciate you so much, Plan A. I'm just a dude streaming with another dude talking about some crypto the dude made for some other dudes. So, you know, I appreciate it, but
yeah. No, honestly, yeah.
Dudes.
Yeah, Mo, your like work ethic, like you're literally from the beginning making those videos in your car, you've stayed so consistent. It's insane. And now you're the biggest streamer in Titanx, and it's like you put in the work to get here. So literally, I love watching your streams. I literally always go into your streams, man. There's always good information. It's a good time. It's not like nothing boring. It's so good. So yeah, keep it up.
No one has ever accused me of being boring in my life. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've always got something interesting. Always got something interesting to say.
Sometimes they go, I have no idea what the fuck you just said, but they don't say he was boring. That's for sure.
Yeah, you just derail it if you don't know what's going on. It's perfect.
You know,
Yeah,
you know.
we're talking about the CIA. Yeah,
Yeah, what the fuck, you know? Earlier, Gugod's like Palantir is what derailed us. No, it wasn't Palantir. Wait, was it Palantir? Was Palantir first, or was it the UFO?
I think it.
Question?
Oh, I think I asked you about that, and then it somehow ended
I
up
don't know.
to
It
some
doesn't
weird
take
place.
much. You
Yeah.
toss one coin to the left of me, and it'll derail me. Kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so
All right,
how do you feel about Titanx at the moment? Obviously, you're saying like post chain, you think it's going to do amazing. Obviously, Titanx is going to do amazing as well. But right now, do you think it's kind of in the close future, near future, or kind of extended out? What are you kind of feeling about Titanx right now?
I feel like right now, if you mine Titanx in the beginning, you're profitable. You know, if you bought Titanx at the bottoms, you're profitable. You know, so like, oh, is it down a couple days, or is it down for the last week or the last month? Zoom the fuck out. Like, I don't mean that to you. I just mean that, you know, funny. But you know,
Yeah.
like just when in doubt, zoom out. Like, you know, where are we since 280? We're like 3x from 280. Like, we're doing great. Everyone that jeets out is someone jeeting out at a price that they can't jeet out later. Like, I know it's weird, but I've said this lots of times. Like, the adoption is growing, the deflation is growing. With those two things growing, whenever I see a sale, I'm like, get out. Get out. Like, I'm
Yeah.
happy because that guy can't nuke at that same price later on down the line. You know, maybe that person got in at 6 zeros and a 2, you know, and now they're dumping at 6 zeros and a 6. Okay, great. So they're dumping in a 3x. Well, when we get to 6 zeros and a, you know, or I think I just did it the opposite way. When we get to like 6 zeros and a 7, no, I said it right. When we get
Yeah.
to like, when we get to 6 zeros and a 7, now the guy's got to buy in higher, and then you got to wait for your next fucking 3x to go sell out at 3x. You know, so I don't really care that much when people sell, when whales sell, because the adoption is still growing. The deflation is still accelerating. Like, we're burning more and more. We're gaining people. Like, all the metrics are going. I said a long time ago, when we hit 5 zeros and a 1, it's going to be super fucking volatile, because that is $100,000 for 100 billion Titanx. And anywhere for anyone that has 100 billion Titanx, when they get to that 100,000 mark,
It's like
every dollar above that is possible G territory.
Yeah.
Like, you know, now I want to, you know,
waiting for it.
Yeah, I want to ask people now, like, you know, how long are you going to make it? You know, we all knew what your idea was. I'm going to do 100x. I'm going to do 1,000x. How long is your emotions going to let you make it? Are you going to only make it 3x? Are you going to only make it 4x? Where are you going to cheat out? Because a lot of these guys that are at $100,000, you know, with 100 billion Titanx, and all of a sudden it's, oh, now we're at 5 zeros and a 2. Now it's $200,000. 5 zeros and a 2.5. I got $250,000. Jeep. Like,
Give out now.
You know, yeah. So every time you see a dump, that's a dude who just let his emotions get. He just took it. That's it. He cheated out at 70% or 2x or whatever. Okay, great. We're going farther. We're going much, much farther. And the more we eat up this supply, the less is available, and the more that price will move when people start getting back in later. Let's go. I'm not worried at all. This is exactly what I thought was going to happen now that we've gotten to this point. I've already established that we're well over a year ahead of time for me. But, you know, now that we've hit this hyper deflationary phase, once we hit that 5 zeros and a 1, game on. We'll have fluctuations. It'll go up, it'll go down. Yeah, but this is all positive territory for all of us that have been playing. How can I be mad about being in positive territory? Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
And I think what's coming, it's going to be like life-changing gains for a lot of people. So if you want to sell out now, go for it. But in my opinion, where I see Titanx going is like, bro, we're in the best place at the right time. There's nowhere else in crypto that is going to do what Titanx is doing at this degree. You can't even recreate Titanx now because we have the community, we have the projects, we have the matured from hyperinflationary to deflationary. It's like, it's amazing.
Right there. We
Yeah,
only have
point.
2 fucking projects using X28. What happens if there's 5 or 10? And then we haven't even got to Omni-chain yet, bro. What happens when we start launching X28 shit on other chains?
Yep.
Oh my God, it's going to be amazing. Like, just mindsets. Like, yeah, you know what? Maybe being in Pulse Chain has helped me because I actually entered into Pulse Chain right at that FUD event of the SEC. You know, was that last year or was that 2 years ago? I can't remember now. Right at that FUD event where the SEC hit him with the lawsuit. And so I've just ridden this whole just bottom trough of Pulse Chain, knowing that it's coming down the line. Just wait, patience. And so Titanx is like, bro, I already thought it was going to start doing well next year, at the end of next year. So I'm already being patient until next year. This is window dressing. Give me some popcorn and let's fucking watch.
This is pre-game lobby. Great. We're just waiting.
Exactly.
This is just the beginning. Yeah.
this is fucking. We're watching preseason games. Yep. Let's fucking go. Yep. We're talking about practice. We're talking about fucking practice here. Let's fucking go.
So do you think an ideal situation? I don't know much about manifesting, but we're about to manifest this. The best case situation for Pulse Chain and for Titanx. So Titanx, let's say, best case situation maybe 60. How many projects do you have at the moment? Is it 30 or 28? Yeah, we have 30 projects. 30 projects now, which is insane. I think that could go to 60 by like the end of next year.
I mean, I think it'll definitely be at least 60 by the end of next year. Well, I mean, shit. What do you have that's on the future board right now?
Let's have a look.
Like, how many are on the future board?
I think there's 19. Wow.
There's 19. There you go. So there's 49. Oh,
yeah.
Can we get 11 more by the end of the year? Yeah, totally.
And imagine how much Titanx, all these build and Titanx protocols have already burned. Now double the protocols. And then continue the ones that are already here that will continue to burn forever. That are just going to keep making it like even more. And then you can go into the Pulse Chain side of things with the lawsuit. And if next year everything hopefully gets passed, like Mo, you're going to be a happy man.
Bro, that's another good point about Pulse Chain. Pulse Chain is another avenue for Titanx to go out of, but it all comes from our side. So if you move a couple trillion Titanx over to Pulse Chain, you can't get it here anymore. You can't fucking buy it on Ethereum. Like imagine, where are we going to be? What's our burn number going to be? What's our percentage of supply going to be on the liquid market when we finally do then go omni-chain? And then someone launches a banger fucking protocol on base, which you need X28 for, which now those base people may not necessarily be coming to ETH to buy fucking X28, but motherfuckers in here are going to be taking X28 and moving it over to base so they can buy it for that fucking banger protocol that's on base.
Yep.
Like so much is going to start getting bridged over to these other fucking chains. And most of us think that, look, politics, we all hate it. It sucks. But with the new administration coming in America, we're talking about firing in mass every anti-crypto person there is and instituting pro-crypto for the next 4 years at a minimum. Yep. Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
Like, there's almost no way that this SEC lawsuit keeps going against Pulse Chain while this new administration removes the old guard, brings in the new guard. Like, there's absolutely no fucking way. And if this new pro-crypto guard comes in, and if they do actually start buying crypto, which, there was a new FUD event where they were like, they can't actually put it in the Federal Reserve. They got to get laws changed. Like, they don't make a million laws every fucking day in America. Takes us 4 fucking seconds. We make laws faster than we wipe our ass in America. There ain't no fucking way we can't make a new fucking law to go get some cryptocurrency. So we have a pro-crypto president coming in, a pro-crypto administration coming in. This could be And it could be the last great cycle, which means this could really be a real fucking super cycle. This could be just legit. Where's Paul Shane going to go? To the fucking moon. Where's Titanx going to go? To the fucking moon. Let's fucking go. Someone clip that shit.
You just got me fired up. But it's like, it goes back. Like, if you were going to write a script of the perfect scenarios to play out, like, it feels like everything's falling into place outside of Titanx and inside of Titanx. It's like, I'm so bullish on 2025. I cannot wait to see all these projects. It's why I built on Titanx. It's like everything's lining up. And like you said, this next bull run, I think it could be like life-changing for so many people if you play it right. So take advantage of it.
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
All right. I've hyped up everybody. Does anybody have any questions for Callum? We are 1 week into Phoenix. I know I've spent probably an hour of this hour and 30 minutes not talking about Phoenix, but believe it or not, it is an actual Phoenix stream. So if you have any questions about Phoenix, please put them in the chat and we will get to them here in a couple minutes. But before we do that, I did want to ask you, what was it like in the lead up to Phoenix? You're a first time builder.
Yep.
What was the learning curve like? What was the frustration levels like? What was there moments you were like, this is going to be easy fucking sailing? And then 2 minutes later, you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. What is happening here? Like, speak to that a little bit. What was it like?
I mean, it's definitely like stressful when you come close to launch because you want everything to be perfect. You've done like weeks of testing. You've gone through audit to make sure it's bulletproof, but obviously you're still nervous leading up to it. I mean, building wise, there's so many platforms in this ecosystem now that you can build projects. If you want to build something and you have an idea, you can literally go to I use Decentra, the same guys that made Vault, that work with Accelerate, that work with you could go and they handle a lot of the really stressful stuff, which is great. But obviously there's still stress in launching a project. And definitely when you come closer to launch, it gets quite intense. Day of launch, very intense. And then, now it's like everything's kind of settled down and kind of, it feels like normal again. It feels like reality.
I feel like if it's me, I'd be like literally the guy that is like right before you deploy. I'm like, all right, and just fucking throw up. And you're like, all right, deploy. Here we go.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for joining my stream. You're like having no idea. I just hurled right off screen. Yeah, that'll be me. I'm pretty sure that it seems very nerve-wracking for a first-time person. Playing crypto, getting into crypto, and then starting crypto is such a, mind fuck, in differences. Let me, I guess, start at the beginning. What was it like when you were coming up with the ideas? Did you lock in on an idea that you wanted right away? Or did you sort of have a general idea of I want to do crypto, and then you sort of slowly filled in the pages? Did you have a million ideas and then throw them all away? What was the idea phase like?
You definitely develop ideas as you build that don't fit your protocol. I think that's where you get a lot of the ideas from, is as you're running through all these different tokenomics. But in the first place, I remember watching a stream from The Verse, and he was just talking about new projects building. And it really got me thinking, like, okay, where is there a gap in Titanx that you could build a project that serves a need that I would personally invest in if someone else made it? And that's kind of where it started for Phoenix. But yeah, the idea changed so many times. You have all these new things come out, like the perpetual auctions. I originally had it very differently, and then Vault comes out and you're like, okay, this is such a better way of doing things. And then you kind of add bits and pieces here and there. So it definitely develops and kind of evolves to the point where you're like, okay, this is the set design. This is like, you get really happy with it. I enjoyed that process because like there's all these
Was that exciting when you see new mechanics come out and you're like, oh, I can use that? Or was it like, fuck, man, now I gotta change that?
I guess if you have time to change it, it's like a really good thing. But if you don't, you're like, shit, like I wish I added that. Like the patient incentive pool that Mike has, such a good idea. Such a good idea. And if you look at his stats as well, a lot of people are not claiming their matrix because they're waiting in that pool, which means liquid supply is a lot lower, which means the buy and burn is a lot more effective. So it's such a good idea. It's simple. And I think a lot of projects are going to do that in the future. But yeah, as new projects come out, but that's what I love about Titanx is everything's kind of like evolving and like building on top of each other. Shogun is a perfect example. It's got pieces here and there to form this, like, what does Jake call it? The Magnus Opus.
The Magnus Opus.
Yep. Yep. And it's just like, I feel like that's the way to innovate, is to try different ideas out, stack different ideas, introduce new ideas, introduce same ideas with tweaks. I think that's the way we kind of see continuation in Titanx. And that's kind of where Phoenix like started. Obviously similar, like when DragonX came out, it was like, this is such a good idea, utilizing stakes, benefit in stakes is like, that's where the idea kind of originated from. And then Vault, like I wanted to add different stakes as Flux came out, and then yeah, it kind of evolved into free stakes and perpetual auctions.
I love it. Was it mostly fun in the beginning, or was it stressful? I know it got stressful like right towards launch, but was it mostly fun in the beginning, or was it stressful also?
Yeah, bits of stress, I would say, but mostly it's like, it doesn't really feel like work. Like, you know, if you're working, it's like you don't necessarily always want to be there, but this whole process for me, it's like, it doesn't feel like work. Like hopping on these streams and stuff, it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like you're passionate about something, and it's just like,
yeah,
you want to go and speak about it. And it, even that, like a lot of the time I'm on the computer a lot on streams or on Twitter and everything, it's all on with the devs, going for ideas and stuff. It's like, it doesn't feel like work. It just, because I'm really enjoying it. So it's like, I don't know, in that aspect of things, it's really good.
Love it. You're having too much fun to really worry about stress, if it is there.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what did you have the protocol figured out before you figured out which ones you wanted to launch on? Or did that sort of like all come into play? Like, cause I was sort of thinking, I wonder if some people are going through like, just sort of like, well, who do I build on? Which protocols do I build on? But it sounds like the idea of the protocol itself sort of lended already towards who you were going to build on. Did you already have that idea in mind, or was that like the last piece?
Definitely. I remember when I first thought, and I watched that first stream, I was like, okay, what is something that someone could build? I remember just looking at Titanx Hub, looking at all the projects one by one and thinking like, okay, what could build on here? What could benefit it? What could utilize it? And I just went through everything. And then Flux, I just was looking at Flux and I was like, yeah, this is huge. And then obviously Blaze is in the same kind of Inferno ecosystem. And originally it was going to be on DragonX, but as I spoke to more people, it just made more sense to keep it all in the Inferno Kingdom, because it all leverages each other. If Inferno pumps, Phoenix pumps, Flux pumps, more rewards, which means it can buy more Inferno, which pumps Flux, which pumps Phoenix. It's like this whole like cycle. So it just made sense, and it kind of all fell into place.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Were there any surprises you had in the process where like you weren't really expecting it, or you didn't think of it? Or did everything kind of flow through? You probably had enough mentors kind of talking to you and walking you through sort of the initial areas.
Shout out Mike Dean, huge help. He led me through. He was like, yeah, basically a mentor. Like he talked to me through like anything I didn't understand. But I mean, even the dev team was so helpful. Like I would have like, we were bouncing off ideas. I would have an idea and they were like, oh, this is a way we could develop it slightly different to make it even better. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a very good idea. Why didn't I think of that kind of thing? So yeah, it definitely is like, it was a whole team effort for Phoenix. But it's cool. And I think for other builders or people out there that want to build, it's like, it's not that scary. It seems quite daunting, but there are these like teams in place that can help you build. If you have a really good idea, I think just go for it.
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
And I love how nonchalant you are about being so young and entering into such a groundbreaking, life-changing, possibly, era in your lifetime, by sort of grabbing this bull by the horns, man. So shout out to you, man. Because, not a lot of people, you told me a little bit off stream about, the moves you made to sort of create this, and, not the moves for the Trepid. And you made some really good moves, and you're a smart dude. So this is just it's awesome to watch.
Yeah, and the way that Phoenix is playing out now, like I am, like it's giving me more Baby Dragon X vibes than anything else. Obviously, I can't talk about price or anything like that. Everything is speculation and not financial advice. But that's the kind of vibes I'm getting at the moment. It's like, it's kind of like underrated-ish. We've had good participation the first few days and it's kind of tapered off, but it just means that if the mint phase ends and this is what the circulating supply is, it means we're going to start at a micro small market cap. And all the fundamentals are still going to be working in the background. We're going to have the auctions that are just going to be reinvesting into the system. We have the stakes that are just going to be fueling the buy and burn. Like everything's going to work perfectly, no matter the valuation. So I'm excited kind of either way, whatever happens. Obviously, like I said at the beginning of the stream, more participation just means we can help take more blaze and flux off market. But for Phoenix, I think it's going to do amazing either way. And I can't wait for it to be day 28 and for it to become cap supply. That's what I'm waiting for.
That's music to my ears is when you tell me I'm in a capped deflationary token built on a hyper deflationary system. Let's fucking go. Come on.
And then you have all these projects building on Inferno. And for people that don't know, Phoenix, the main LP is with Inferno. So basically, by default, if Inferno does a 10x and no one buys or sells Phoenix, it gets carried with price appreciation of Inferno. Obviously, people sell, it doesn't, but the ratio is always going to be there the same. So if Inferno does really well, Phoenix is going to just leverage that. And there's Flare coming out, which 8% of all the Titanx is going to burn more Inferno. And Go X is coming out literally next Saturday, which 8% is going to buy more Inferno as well. And Inferno is like micro small, below 3 million market cap.
I don't think I have enough Inferno. I do have Inferno. Do I have enough? I don't think so.
I think it's like it's very underrated. It's like the underdog of the ecosystem, in my opinion. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. But like, I don't think it will be for that long. I think all the projects that are building it to burn it, I mean, it's like 58% of the supply is already burnt. And look, it's at the lows. It's like, I'm so happy that we launched it. If we go back to all-time highs for Inferno, it's like Phoenix is just going to benefit. Not financial advice. And all of this is obviously hypothetical. Yeah, so the ratio is the main thing because Phoenix is priced in the ratio, basically. It's priced in Inferno, but the input is Titanx. So if the Inferno Titanx ratio drops, it just means it's no longer profitable to mint Phoenix. But then if this runs up, it means it's going to be very profitable to mint Phoenix, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I still remember, like the Inferno mint where, in the last weeks of Inferno, it wasn't necessarily profitable, but as everyone piled in, they added so much more economic energy into that system that that's where that first, pump went, is it just went to the moon because, again, if you buy on market, it's fine. Everyone make your own decisions. You buy on market, but all that energy goes into someone's pocket. If you go into the protocol, the energy goes into the protocol. And the protocols like to use that energy to better themselves. And so if you want to get in a protocol and you want the protocol to do well, maybe devote some of that energy to the protocol instead of just buying all on market. I'm just saying. Because otherwise, if everyone bought on market and nothing went into that protocol, well, actually, I mean, it was still, because you already have so much already.
The beauty about Phoenix as well, really after it becomes capped, we still have the daily auctions, which is the biggest holder of Phoenix. So if Phoenix did hypothetically go up, it means we're still getting income from those daily auctions, which reinvest into the stakes and reinvest into the buy and burn. So it's going to mirror whatever the price is. So even if people only brought off market, we're still having income come in that's fueling the free stakes and fueling the buy and burn even more.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, think about the early days in Titanx. Think about on day 2, if, in week 2, if people were spending $1 million to buy it on market, but instead of $1 million went into Titanx, into the miners, and got redistributed into the stakes, into the buy and burns and all that. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Get that energy into the protocol, not putting it in someone's pocket for an extra 5%.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. Make your money, make your decisions. Don't let anyone tell you what to do, but don't buy on market.
And look at this ratio. The ratios come back down to cycle 8, which is insane considering so much more Inferno has been burnt since then. I think it wasn't even at 50%. You see where that massive tick upwards at the beginning, that's when like cycle 8 finished for Inferno. There was that massive pump. We've come back down to that same ratio, which is just insane.
Yeah, I like that chart a lot.
Yep.
Let's try to find her. There we go.
58%. Yeah. I think some people even say it's more. I don't know how accurate this number is. I just go off this number. I just use this pie chart. But yeah, I think 58% is insane.
Yeah, that's wild.
And obviously, Flux is the biggest burner, and the more projects, like there's already E369 Phoenix built on top of Flux that are just going to be locking up even more Flux, because its liquid supply is only like 6 or 7%. So, and that's obviously what impacts the price. And if there are these projects that are constantly locking up more of that supply to make even the liquid even smaller, and there are projects like Phoenix buying off supply, it just means the hyperinflation of it is kind of delayed, like I was talking about at the beginning of the stream, which means even more Inferno is being burned, which means it's supporting Flux even more. It's like
there's 2.5 trillion Inferno left liquid. That's it. The rest has all been burned.
Yep.
Like, yeah. I'm getting Helios vibes here. You're like, I'm just telling you, man. It's a big opportunity. No one's seeing it.
Yeah. You know what? The cycle 8, 59%. Wow. Almost 60. Yeah, the cycle 8, when that first happened, and then we had literally it ended and then it rocketed up. I remember that was the first video I tried to make, but my camera, the recording messed up, and I would have looked like such a genius, because the actual like fair value of Inferno to Titanx ratio was like 2.4 or 2.3 or something, or 1 or something. I can't remember. But literally after that cycle 8, it just rockets straight to that. I draw a line. It literally goes straight to that line and just bounces off it. And I was like, I wish I made that video. That would have been such a good first video to enter Titanx.
Yeah, I mean, look, at this point, if you haven't learned the lesson that a Titanx protocol in launch is probably one of the best opportunities to get in, and that any protocol that dips a little bit on its launch are some of the best opportunities we've ever had, and that faded protocols in this ecosystem are some of the best opportunities you could ever have. So guys, don't forget about these launches, because I have so many people who come to me in the DMs afterwards and like, I didn't get into it on launch, but I just bought a whole bunch on market. Damn it, I wish I listened. That's what the launch is for. That's what the mint phase is for. Yep. You have a chance to get in.
And that's like with the auctions, it's kind of like FOMO. Like there's an ROI there, you're going to participate. With this kind of mint phase, it's like only the real true believers are the ones that are going to put in Titanx to mint it, that are going to be holding the supply. Like only the true believers that really, really believe are going to be holding. And that's what I love about it. It's not like FOMO where everyone's just going to kind of throw money at it because there's an ROI there. It's like only the true believers are going to be holding, which I think is going to start with a very small valuation, but I think the future is going to like be huge for it. Yeah, Alien X as well is obviously on Inferno, and that's going to benefit from all these projects building on Inferno as well, which I can't wait for. Alien X, yeah, it's looking good.
Alien X has already burned almost 20%. Wow. Oh, that's just the Alien X burn. Burn by the core, burn the... Damn, what's the total burn percentage? You gonna make me do math? Like 34%. Is that what that is? 20, 34, 35. That's
33. Yeah, that is impressive.
That's awesome. Alien X is one of mine. Like, dude, low market cap in Titanx, low liquidity, gold. Fucking gold. Let's fucking go. Alien X is definitely one of my biggest plays right now. Shout out to Goo God. I'll tell you what, I don't like to necessarily talk about the big plays that I'm in at the time, because I never want anyone to copy me or, repeat what I'm doing, because, whenever I tell you about something I've done, that's after the fact. So whatever dynamics I had, you might not get. So I get real sketched out on telling people necessarily what I'm into at any given time, but Alien X is one of my big fucking plays, and Flux is one of my big fucking plays. Like, I'm super excited about Flux. I'm sorry, I said Flux. Phoenix. I have Flux. I'm not super in Flux. I have Flux, but I'm super into Phoenix. I'm super into Alien X, and I think probably people know I have a decent amount of Morpheus also, because if if you fade any of these fucking protocols in the middle of launch, I'm going to buy it cheap. And I keep doing it. I've bought ORX at, I think, a penny or just under a penny. Is that just under or just over? I bought Alien X at the lows. I bought Morpheus at the lows. Let's fucking go. The second I saw Phoenix had a negative ROI and I'm on, I was like, oh yeah, fucking mint more. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like it's literally not been seen in crypto where we have these hyper deflationary projects on top of hyper deflationary projects on top of a hyper deflationary base of Titanx. It's like all these stacked plays on top of each other. It's going to be insane to see how it plays out, because like if Dragon X does a 10x, Morpheus does a 10x, and that's if no one else buys Morpheus. If more people buy Morpheus and it has a smaller market cap, so it's easier to move, it moves.
Dragon X did a 10x and Baby Dragon X did a 100x.
Exactly. Yeah,
like
exactly,
bro.
Yeah, that's why and that's why I'm so excited about Inferno. Like, obviously I can't talk about price, but I'm just excited about that, man. I think it's the underdog right now, but I think what you're talking about at the beginning, the contrarian plays, making plays that no one else is looking at, is like, it's screaming to me at the moment.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. It's to the point where I literally, I don't have anything else in my life I can liquidate, but I wish I did. Like, what can I
what can I sell?
Car? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Man, what do it's a used table. I can probably get like $20 for that. I don't, like what?
I think Smooth sold a house, and I remember asking him, I was like, so how much of that is going to Titanx? And he was like, I was like, just go all in. No, I was joking.
Don't ever go all in. Go all in. No, don't literally bet the
Sell your house. Sell your house. And go into
I had a dude in my DMs ask me if he should sell his car once. And I was like, no, don't sell your car. I mean, sell the car over the house for sure.
Yeah. It's, you have to be really, really sure if you're selling like your transport and your house under your head.
Look, I really don't like the financial advice thing and how you always have to say, look, not financial advice. We're all fucking adults. We all know that we're putting money towards something that may or may not work out. If you're an adult and you want to put a bunch in it because you really fucking think it's going to work out, who am I to tell you not to do it? Fucking play your fucking games. Do your fucking moves. I mean, I don't ever like to see anyone risk more than they can ever lose. So my general thing is like, if you wouldn't take this money to the casino, why would you put it in no crypto? And that's the way I think of it. And by all means, I don't think that I'm going into just gambling. And I don't think this shit is gambling. I think there's way more to it. But I look at that in terms of, would I spend this money at the bar tonight? If I'm like, that's too much money to spend at the fucking bar tonight, then it's too much money for me to spend in crypto. So that's the way I try and look at it. But honestly, like you're all fucking adults. If you think you made the right moves, then fucking go for it. Don't let anyone tell you not to do it. You yourself made a very big move that on paper, people would always be like, don't do that. Well, you should diversify and you should not do that at all. They're all wrong. All of the moves that I made last year to get into Titan, over the last, year and a half to get into Titanx, you would say on the surface, are you maybe risking a little bit too much? Maybe, but I'm really on board with this shit, and I really like where this is going. And the risk reward to me, I am all on board with putting fucking more in. So let's fucking go. In the end, not financial advice, but you're all fucking adults. If you're a man, be a fucking man, make a decision, do your research and stand by it. And don't fucking whine if it's the wrong decision or if it doesn't fucking work out. You made a decision, you went for it, you swung for the fences and you missed. That's life. But you know what? For most of us, we keep thinking that if we keep fucking swinging, we're going to fucking nail it. So play it smart, do it your best, but fuck the not financial advice. Like, just be a man, make a decision, or be a woman, make a decision. Do you stand by it? Be proud of your decisions. Be proud of the moves you make. 99% of all of us are not going to be at the top of the fucking bell curve on wealth. And if this is our chance to get into it, then let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. Yeah.
Don't
Literally.
bet the house, but bet what you can if that's what you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the thought process behind it is a lot of the time with investments is like, especially in crypto, it's kind of like, what's the alternative? Like, this is where you can make life-changing money, and you have to be prepared for it to dip 80% because it will at some point. So you have to understand the risks, but there's nowhere else in the world where you can make this much reward for risking, like for the risk, basically. Like, I just see it as, what's the alternative? You work 40 years just to make enough, or you go big and you risk it to try and make something of yourself. Because otherwise, I think life is about risk. Otherwise, what's the point?
A funny one for you. When I was in oh shit, this is gonna really date me. Can I tell this fucking story? This will really date how old I am.
Fabricate the numbers.
At some point, my car got broken into, and everything was stolen out of it. It was cleaned out, right? And I had a lot of shit in that car. And so I actually had renter's insurance, and so I could claim what was stolen in my car. And so I called the insurance company up, and they literally, almost no questions asked, it was back then, they just cut me a big old fucking check for the market value of everything that I bought, even though some of it was like years in the past. And so I came away with I think it was like $7,000. And for how young I was, that was a stupid amount of money to ever hand me. But I had a guy in the family who was all into stocks, and he was like, "I'm gonna tell you what to do. Just follow me. I'm gonna do these moves." That's exactly how I talk too.
Yep.
And so I followed him into 3 different stocks. One of them was a stock called Quest Communications, and it was one of the bigger telephone companies. And they were basically like mostly in the Midwest, but they had 50 million customers. Big telephone company, right? And he's like, they're moving into broadband. The whole future is broadband, blah, 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 blah. So I got into them. And then he was like, put the rest into AOL. They're about to merge with Time Warner, which is going to mean it's going to be media, but free advertising. It's the greatest thing in the world. It's going to, well, if you know the story on AOL went to fucking shit. And Quest Communications...
Yeah.
Quest Communications turned into a WorldCom, which was an Enron, and they were one of these companies that were moving billions of dollars of debt in a shell game behind the scenes, trying to not get caught. And they got caught, and they weren't making money, and they had billions and billions of debt in the whole company. And so I put my $7,000 in these 2 stocks, and 6 months later, they were almost worthless. And that was in the traditional financial system. So if you put your money towards anything, who fucking knows?
Yeah.
If you put all your money in the stock market right before COVID, and then you're like, oh God, they're right, the world is ending. And then you sold. So anything can happen. They can tell you the world is ending and you can sell. And then we can wake up the next day and realize the world's not ending, and then the markets go back to normal. Yep. You can invest in a semiconductor company, and then China can declare war with that company, and you can be like, oh shit, I bet the wrong company here. Anything can happen. So, I'm sick of the not financial. I know we have to say it because we have to fucking say it. Yes, everything I've said is not financial advice, but you're fucking adults. Act like an adult. Be an adult. Come on.
It sometimes feels like it isn't in crypto though. There's a lot of people that I don't think understand what's going on, and I think everyone should do their own education and come to their own conclusions and not blame anyone else, because, like Mo said, everyone's adults. It's on you. Right. It's not on anyone else.
Did you take $1,000 and lose it on blackjack? You lost it on blackjack. No one made you go play fucking blackjack. Did you put $1,000 in shitcoin ABC? You put $1,000 in shitcoin ABC. It didn't work out. Maybe it would have, but it didn't work out. Don't blame anyone. Like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah. So, I'm excited. None of this FUD hits me. I'm your fucking FUD sin eater. Like, just give me your FUD. I'll fucking eat it and I'll feed off of it. Let's fucking go. Every time a big FUD event happens, I just buy more. Let's go. I'm not even worried.
Yeah.
What? Worried about what? What are we talking about? It's hyper deflationary. The adoption is growing. What am I even worried about? We have a pro crypto president coming in. What the fuck am I supposed to be worried about?
Yep.
Someone sold and made money? Good. That's what's supposed to happen. Yeah.
Literally.
I'm not worried. Let's fucking go.
The future 2025 is going to look amazing.
All right. This is a 2-hour rant in which I devoted almost none of it to your protocol.
No, I think we did. Yeah, no. I feel like we did some good information about it for sure. Great stream there. I think this is one of the best we've done.
Well, I appreciate you. I have fun. I have fun doing this with you for sure. You're an easy dude to stream with. I can do this any day. Like you said, this isn't work. We're having fun, man. Let's fucking go. Maybe next time I'll appropriately title the stream 75% derailment stream, 25% crypto. Yeah. Maybe it won't be false advertising, whatever.
It's what people love. It's what the audience loves. The derailment is what they come for.
I get a couple comments every stream that make me think that these people don't actually watch me. Like, you talked an awful lot about something that wasn't crypto. Do you ever watch my streams? No. You interrupt a lot. You just figured that out. Just 70 streams into it. You just figured out I interrupt people. That fucking happens.
Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna tell you what. See, you always did it again. Fucking interrupt you again. Just like that. No. Go.
I was just gonna say, great stream. GooGod said, one of the better streams. I agree. I think there's been a wide range of the alpha in this stream for people to watch, for sure.
You may have to pick through it to find the moments, but I think there are a couple golden moments here in between.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see. All right. Apparently, I'm the motivator now. So we'll go with that for a while. I'm your Titanx motivator. Let's fucking go. All right. No questions in the chat. I think we've killed it. I'm super psyched for Phoenix. I can't wait to see where this is going to go. I know I'm still taking part because I remembered Inferno, and I want my economic energy to go to the protocol to pump itself, not to go into someone's pocket. So I'm going to be playing the protocol pretty much until the end of mint phase, and then let's fucking go on some auctions, man. I can't wait. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, man. I can't wait.
All right. How about some last words, uninterrupted, whatever you want to talk about. Literally, I'll mute myself.
Final things. Yeah, I think everyone's in the right place. Guys, I think Titanx is going to do amazing. All these new protocols, all the new ones coming out. I would say look at Inferno and everything building on Inferno. Obviously, I'm biased. Look at Phoenix. I think at the moment I mean, everything's going to work perfectly no matter the valuation, but obviously being undervalued, I'm just going to remind everyone of the Baby Dragon X scenario. What happened there? We still have the free stakes. We still have the free stakes. We still have perpetual auction starting after the 28-day fair mint, and only the true believers are going to be the ones holding the supply, which I can't wait to see kind of what happens, especially with Inferno, with all these projects launching. And I hope everyone has a really good Christmas and makes the most of it with their families as well. L, why did you put Elmo? Yeah, that's my message. Oh, let's fucking go.
One at a time, baby. Let's fucking go.
I thought you just put L there. Like,
just L in the chat. You're like, L?
What
the fuck is that? Like loser? Is that what you're like? You just call me a loser in the chat?
Yeah, I just said a nice message. Everyone have a good Christmas.
L for loss. He's like, what is this fucking guy? No, let's fucking go. That's what I was doing. I was muted and I still derailed you. That's amazing. I am the king of this. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your weekend. Have a good Christmas if I don't see you between then. I will do a stream tomorrow with GoatX. I'll pop up those links here in a bit. Because I had an abbreviated super quick stream with them when I had to go to the hospital one day. So I felt really bad about that. And yeah, I'm always here for a stream. You ever want to talk to the community? You ever want to get going? You ever want to get Erwin up and just have an absolute nonsense stream where we don't talk about crypto? but make people think we're going to talk about crypto, let's fucking do it. I'm on board. But I hope you all have a great week. Have a good Christmas. Peace out.